Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Pints and Quarts, a show brought to you by the Craft Beer Nation. It is Thursday, February 8th, and tonight we have the privilege of speaking with Armando DeDona and Erica Woodcock. They are the head brewer and an assistant brewer for Long Live Beerworks out of Providence, Rhode Island. So be sure to stick around and hear what they have to say. Rhode Island might be a little state, might be the smallest state, but they're making a lot of noise in the craft beer scene. So you're going to want to hear this one. But before we get started, I want to direct you to some of our different social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram at the Craft Beer Nation. We tweet at Craft B Nation. You can find us on Facebook at Craft Beer Nation. And also you can find us on Google Plus at, you guessed it, Craft Beer Nation. So without further ado, let me welcome you guys to our cast for tonight. We are dealing my two co-pilots tonight are Freddie Rodriguez. How are you doing tonight, sir?
What's going on, Randy? What is the deal? I'm good. Ready to chop it up.
For sure. Marcus Green, how are you tonight, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Randy? Life is good. Still on the water kick. No beer yet. So
hey man, before April's gonna be here, before you know it, you're gonna be running your race. And then you can start undoing all that progress you made and start drinking beer and gain all the weight right back.
Hopefully I don't gain all the weight right back. Right now I'm trying to think like what's the first style I'm gonna drink.
All the cool.
It's gonna be like a New England IPA, if it's gonna be a super stout, or I have no idea yet.
All the cool people just gain the weight. It's what's hot in the streets right now. It's what's hot in the streets.
Corpulence is in. Is that what you're saying?
Corpulence is in, sir. So, last but not least, it's all good. Our guest of the hour, Armando. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. We have an ashtray outside the brewery, and it's currently on fire. So I'm gonna put it out.
Oh, well, that's important.
Yeah.
Erica, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great, thanks.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. I mean, you guys both are brewing. Obviously, you guys both love craft beer. How did your love affair with craft beer start? And we can go from left to right. So, Armando, it's on you, sir.
Who's on the left?
You're on my left.
All right, I'm on your left. Well,
it might look different on YouTube. I don't know, but whatever.
It's I gotta say, like my first what I thought was craft beer at the time was when I was a much younger man and I had Newcastle Brown and Magic Hat No. 9. I thought those were I thought they were just so great and different tasting. But to be honest, before that, when I'd hear older people sip on bitters and stuff, I thought they were idiots at the time. This is the 90s, though. This is the 90s. So it's like, you guys are dumb. But yeah, it started a long time ago. Just getting into, different things besides pale lagers. And a lot of my friends started home brewing back in the late 90s, too. And I picked it up in the 2000s. And that's where it all started from there.
Similar story. I was stationed in Germany, and that's where I had my first beer, so no better place. Came back to the United States, and then drank a bunch of Bud Light. That was my jam for a while. Got into home brewing. After that, I don't know, I just got into working in the tasting room in a brewery, and eventually worked my way up to being an assistant brewer.
So are both of you guys from the state of Rhode Island and Providence plantations, or you just happen to be there?
I'm from New Haven, Connecticut. I moved here about 12 years ago, actually. Moved here. When my wife was finishing up college, we wanted to move around the country. This was our first stop, and we haven't moved since, to be honest. It's
plans halted quickly.
Rhode Island's a nicer version of Connecticut. All the things you like about Connecticut, but none of the bullshit, really.
I grew up in Rhode Island, so
yeah.
I grew up, left for a while, and came back.
Are you guys impressed that I knew the whole name of the state of Rhode Island?
Providence plantations? Yeah,
very.
Okay.
Google is a very powerful tool.
No. Why would one think to Google the real name of Rhode Island? Come on, I know things. I drink and I know
drinking, you know things.
Okay. So So tell us a little bit about the craft beer scene in Rhode Island. I mean, you guys have. I mean, there are a few other breweries there that are making some really good stuff, and you guys are amongst them. So how has the craft beer scene in Rhode Island changed over, say, the last 5 years?
The last 5 years, it changed drastically. I think. There was a in the past 5 years. That's when all the breweries started opening up here, and there's like there was a lot of older models, and I'd say when things really changed when Proclamation opened up over three years ago, because they made the first new style beers in the state. They went straight at it with great IPAs and sours, and before that, majority of the other brewers, they made kind of like your Baskin Robbins flavors, all the flavors of every other brewery, pretty much. That's my opinion.
Okay. So what's?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but it keeps changing and changing. We're getting new breweries all the time. Probably gonna get like 20 new breweries in the next year or so. But
so with the craft beer season, with the craft beer scene there evolving the way it is, what sets you guys apart? Like, what do you think? What do you consider to be your identity as a brewery?
Identity of our brewery?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Like, are you IPA heavy?
Oh yeah.
Are you
for sure.
Yes.
You have to be. You
Yeah.
have to be around
Anymore.
there.
Smart. Yep.
We love them too, and that's
Yeah.
they're fun to make too. I think I can't even count how many IPAs we've made, and we have 2 to 3 new ones this month.
Yep.
And
wait, it's only the 8th.
Yeah. We're constantly rotating our beers.
Yeah, we're not. There's there's different hops, different combinations. We've yet to make like a beer that we absolutely love. For me personally, for IPAs. So we keep trying out new recipes. It's fun. Just go.
Yeah,
for it.
I think that's dope that it's the 8th of the month and you're already on your 3rd different IPA. Because like if you have people that are super local, they're like, oh, I can go there any day of the week and they might have this on, they might have that on. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun too because we just released a new one today and we sold out within an hour and a half of cans, which is pretty cool for this little place. And nobody even tasted it before, but they all came and bought it. So.
They trust you.
Yeah,
they have a
do.
track record.
Yeah.
They shouldn't, though. They shouldn't. We threw them a little curveball a month ago, and didn't get the best feedback. We made a dark IPA, but not like a traditional black IPA. We just made an IPA that was dark and really messed with people's minds a lot. Right?
Yeah.
People want that.
I think it was good.
Yeah, we loved it, but people didn't know what to think because it looked like porter, but drank like one of our other IPAs.
So are you heavily New England IPA leaning, or do you still kind of pay homage to traditional East Coast IPA, maybe a little bit of West Coast IPA?
We haven't. We just talk about it. We want to, but we're so small. We need more. We're working on a larger facility. Once we get more tanks, we're gonna have a couple West Coast beers. One of my favorite IPA combinations is like West Coast Ale East with Mosaic hops. To me, that's a good combination. That makes a good beer.
Yeah, most of our beers are what you would call the New England style IPA.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I've had the pleasure. I had All Seeing Eye, I think, in October, which was pretty kick-ass, to be honest. That was probably the first time I had it. I was like, whoa, I gotta have more beer from these guys. I mean, do you feel that
our more popular beers?
Do you feel that being in Rhode Island, which is such a smaller state, has like that part of advantage for you as far as like, because I mean, I'm in the South Shore of Mass, so it's I can get to Providence in like 40 minutes, let's say. But I mean, I guess that's an advantage in itself. Where I'm in Massachusetts and it's a quick trip to Rhode Island. Connecticut's pretty, fairly quick trip. I mean, do you see a lot of traffic like that?
Yeah, especially on the weekends. Like even like we go to other breweries still. We see the same people that come to our brewery all the time. Even like going to a bar, like you trip at a dive bar in Worcester, right? Armsby Abbey, they got like a great draft list. I seen like last time I was there, I saw like 4 of our customers that come in all the time. But,
Providence is a pretty big tourist city too, so we get a lot of traffic in and out.
Yeah, we do. And we're like 45 minutes from Treehouse and Trillium too. So you can really haul some cans around here, to be honest.
The trade game is crazy. So you guys were speaking earlier about how you sold out of all your cans in, I think you said like an hour and a half or whatever it was. What's your brew house size right now, and what kind of tanks do you have?
Right now,
size tanks,
our brew house is 10 hectoliters, which is about 8 barrels. And we have 3 10-barrel tanks and 1 15, which we absolutely filled to the absolute top. Makes a huge mess. But we're like in a tiny space. We're in 850 square feet.
Oh wow!
Wow! Yeah,
you guys are brewing in a garage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brewery and tasting room.
Brewery and tasting room all in the same space too.
So it's there's an old song. There's a song. I'm from South Carolina, and there's a song down there that says the smaller the club, the bigger the party.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It feels like that sometimes, and it's packed in here.
That's why we love the summertime. Everybody can spill out into the parking lot and give us a little breathing.
And how long have you guys been open?
We just hit our 2-year mark.
So what was your output last year?
Barrels?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I've heard time remembering numbers, but I think it was around 400 barrels.
Okay.
Oh no, 2017, 2016 it was 400 barrels, and I think we hit closer to 700 last year. I think that's a good estimate. I don't know. I should know these numbers, right? I can't remember numbers ever.
So what you guys are? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Randy.
No, Marcus, you got it.
I was gonna say you said you guys are 850 square feet. Now, when you guys I see you guys have cans. So is the canning line already built in, or do you have like a mobile cannery coming in?
We bought a canning line. It's pretty small. It works out great. A lot of breweries have the same canning line. We used to use a mobile canning company, but they outgrew us because we were just too small for them. They were making more money at larger breweries instead of our little brewery.
Yeah, they want more volume over anything else. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now we have our own canning line, and it works out great. We can can as little as we want, which is great. And there's no deadlines anymore. With the mobile canning company, they're coming on the 28th, and it's either
better be ready.
And your beer's going to be either sitting or almost ready.
So you guys are it's that area of the country is definitely brewery heavy. What are some of the challenges that you guys are facing right now that you didn't that you may not have anticipated facing early on? Because I mean the market is kind of sort of saturated up there, right? And then just craft beer as a whole, there's a lot of players in the game, and hop access, I would imagine, isn't necessarily the easiest thing, especially when you are a smaller brewery who can't get the big contracts that some of the other guys get. So what are some of the challenges, the biggest challenges that you guys are facing right now?
Well, for us, it's space, but the breweries in general, we're limited what we can sell in Rhode Island, which is, we're very limited. We can sell 18 tall boys per person per day, and 32 ounces in-house for pours, and that's it.
What?
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I can go there and only have 32 ounces per brewery?
Yeah.
But I think a couple of years ago, when they passed, it was the on-premise sales where it wasn't like not too long ago, right?
Yeah, it used to be in 2016. It was 12 ounces in-house.
Yeah, it was less.
And 32 ounces to go. But we still don't have a lot, but I'm thankful for what we have because.
Yeah.
I would so drink my 2 pints, check out, walk outside, and walk back in.
Put a different hat on.
Is it per day or per visit?
It's per day. But
people bend the rules around.
Yeah, there's a little rule bending. Yes.
I guess that's probably a big reason why you see, you said you see your customers all over town, because if you can only have 2 here, then you can go across the street and have 2, and by the time you go there, the shifts might have changed. You're like, oh, I can go back. Let's go back to Long Live, you know.
Yeah, and like we're within like 15 minutes of other good breweries, and it's like other states are more saturated, but you can go to Tilted Barn and Proclamation and us. Yep. It's all within like probably about an hour of your time, maybe, and grab something.
Hmm.
So you mentioned earlier that you guys, I think you said you guys are working on a second facility or a bigger facility.
Yeah, we are. It's still every time I think we get closer, we get a little further away. But we have a space. Don't really want to talk too much about it yet until we're. You know what?
I mean, this is the perfect form. This is the perfect form to break some news.
I say that, but I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time.
Everybody here is like shaking their head at me.
It's the perfect time for breaking news.
The more drinks go down.
We would love to, but like I don't have the lease signed on the space yet.
Oh, okay.
I just had a lease negotiation this morning, and it's been. I can't wait to just get that lease signed.
Yeah.
But it's going to be much larger space, bigger tasting room. We want it to be a beautiful space too, so we hired a great architecture firm to design and build it all.
Is it around the same kind of area, or are you guys?
Yeah, it's still on the west side of
Okay.
Providence. It's kind of in the border of the south side, but it's within a mile of our current place, and it's actually like way closer to my house too. It's about 3 blocks from my house.
Everybody who lives in Providence now is gonna be like triangulating this city and like trying to figure out where it is.
I got a big map, so I already showed a lot of people where it is. I still have a lease sign.
So are you going to keep the same facility open and like maybe turn that into like a production facility, or are you just going to take everything to the new spot?
We're taking everything, and in Rhode Island, you're only allowed to have one space for the most part, unless you can find a way to bend the rules. But
well, the place you have now is your office.
Technically.
Come on, Rhode Island.
I think we do get 90 days overlap, and that's going to be fun because we're going to like fill this little space with so much beer.
Yeah,
it's basically
absolutely.
Like we make an effort to keep beer here. We'll cut off growlers. We put out a beer today. We sold Kings. We filled growlers, and we'll probably cut growlers tomorrow. So we have it at least for draft for like a week or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. I can't wait to be in new space, man. I just want square footage. I want space.
I want to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't, like, we talk about it all the time. Like, we're going to be working in a place. We're not going to be up each other's butt all day. I'm not going to spray you with a hose. I've sprayed her with hops, clearing out a tank once, and it wasn't fun.
You're gonna sprayed with everything in this place.
Not everything, but
I was thinking that. I'm like,
I was like, Freddie, you got a question?
oh man.
No, Freddie, were you about to say something for real this time? Though?
sorry.
Excuse me. No, actually, I was gonna ask because didn't you guys come out with what's it a barrel aged style? Was it like that move, no, Randy? Yes.
Yeah, we came out with one last year, and it's probably my favorite beer that we've ever made, right? To be honest, and but like we don't have room for barrels anymore. We threw another fermenter in instead.
Okay.
And we've been trying. We're like trying to see if we can put barrels on the roof or something. I don't know what to do. But,
Put them everywhere.
in their next space, we're gonna totally go with the bourbon barrel aged stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. We love it. I mean, that's me. Well, I love it. I know I love it. I know that she has different opinions on it.
We love it.
Barrel aged.
Yeah.
She works. I pay her. I pay her.
Yeah, so I love it.
So she loves it. She has to.
I love it.
But
So,
yeah.
how do stouts sell equally as well as your New England IPAs up there? I mean, I imagine this time of year you probably can't keep stouts, but perhaps, I don't know.
No, they don't sell. Not even close. I mean, it took me forever to sell all the Hurry Sundown, but now like, it's highly traded locally for us, and every now and then I'll break open a case and sell, like, have some bottles for sale, and they sell relatively fast. But
Our regular stouts will stay on for a while.
yeah, usually.
But
I've heard good stuff of. Recently, someone was talking. Has good things to say about. Was it Nitro Cart? The milk
Yeah,
stout?
Nitro Cart.
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite beer on taps right now. Loving it a lot.
So it's the case that you guys don't have a flagship beer?
No, not really. No, that was my original intention, and I never even wanted to brew another beer again. But people keep asking for beers, so we keep making beers. And then we
I'm sorry.
narrowed it down to like a few that I love, so we make those over and over again. You know.
So do you not find that obviously your customer base is okay with that, right? I mean, because there are some, this like here, one of the breweries close to me, Aslan, they they got a lot of beers that they rotate through, and a lot of people definitely have their favorites out of all the beers that rotate through. But do you not get customers constantly asking for, when you guys gonna brew that again or this again?
Yeah. You know what? It really goes down to like you were talking earlier about Hard being a small brewer. We can't get Galaxy hops too often, and so anytime I make something with Galaxy hops in it, everybody wants it back, but we just don't have the hops. And when I do find Galaxy hops for sale, I end up buying as much as I possibly could, and then I can't even store it here. But that happens a lot. I mean, that's why we started doing our first repeat brews, to be honest, just to because customers keep asking. I'm just tired of my goal in life is to get the least amount of complaints as possible too. So.
Do you foresee speaking of Galaxy hops and its accessibility, do you foresee there ever becoming a point in time where, let's say, 3 small breweries in Providence try to come together and try to get a hop contract as one entity, as opposed to just Long Live trying to get Galaxy hops? So maybe you stand a better chance if you guys kind of get together and try to buy a big lot of Galaxy hops and then kind of splitting it between yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the past, and that'd be great. I've talked about it with other brewers too, from even out of state, and there's always like something stopping. Like Rhode Island is so small, we share the same audience, like for most brewers. So
yeah,
we're all like everybody's really friendly, but there's always like that little thing that unspoken like border between breweries where people just don't want to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like a great idea. It's like, hey, all of us together, we can get what we need, but that's unfortunate.
And even more so, I keep talking specifically about Providence, but I mean, Rhode Island is so small to where, I mean, it's not necessarily just about Providence. It's about Rhode Island. So that kind of sucks with, such a small state, such concentration of breweries, and there's still being that, that unspoken rule about how boundaries merge or may not merge together. You would think there'd be a little bit more kind of camaraderie, but I guess you're all battling for the same folks.
Yeah,
same market share. Yeah,
some people labeled it as cooperation. Do you know what I mean? Because we are friends, and believe me, we've gotten help from other breweries, and we'll help other breweries if they ask. But there's like an invisible force stopping us from being brewery communists. We don't want to be brewery commies, but yeah, I mean, like I hit up a brewery, Whalers, there in Wakefield. I asked them if they have any hops for sale because I want to try some new hops. And the owner, Wes, like came here within an hour. He drove like an hour to get here with some new hops for me, like instantly.
Sweet.
So there are great people.
That's awesome. Yeah.
See you guys later. And Proclamation Dave has always been helpful with like information when I was trying to get started. And Matt from Tilt Barn is a great guy too. I knew Matt before he had a brewery. He had a hop farm, and I used to go to pick hops and hang out and shoot the shit. And I was the first growler fill at Proclamation too. I think I'm the only brewer that like goes to the breweries really.
That's good, man. Hey, look, you get out there and make friends with everybody. Maybe you'll be the one to break down those invisible forces. So
Yeah,
who knows?
We'll see.
So to change gears a little bit, Erica, I mean, there's an emerging I don't even know if it's emerging anymore. It might just be here, female presence in craft beer. How do you feel about the current female representation in the craft beer field right now?
I am all about it. We definitely need more women in the brewery roles, not just in taproom roles. But it's awesome. I am part of Pink Boot Society, which is for women in beer, and I run the Rhode Island chapter. So I'm like definitely pro women in brewing industry in all aspects of it. We just enhance it,
What was the name of that society?
Pink Boots Society.
Pink Boots. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, here at Long Live, Armando hires almost exclusively women.
I do.
My man.
So
No, I'm just kidding.
it just works out that way. So it's pretty cool. Rhode Island's a pretty small scene, so there's not a lot of women in the production side of brewing. There's a few of us, but there's a lot in all the other aspects.
So do you think that there's a specific reason as to why there aren't a lot of women in the production side? Is it like some I don't know. I'll let you answer that.
I would assume that they just never thought about having that as a job. It is like pretty physically taxing, so I don't know. I used to be a teacher before this career, so I did like totally like 180 on my
For sure.
On what I was doing, sitting all day and then actually being pretty physical. And there's just not a lot of opportunity in Rhode Island because there are so few breweries.
Yeah, that's true. Because when I first wanted to get into the industry, there was nobody around here that was hiring. There was 3 breweries in the state.
Yeah, and then you're going to get hired for
and then
nothing.
There was a brewery in Massachusetts. I'm not going to say who it was, but it was 40 hours a week for free. And, maybe you get tips in the tasting room, and that was it. So, now it's different. Now it's actually a competitive market. So when you, hiring people, you have to, offer incentives.
So, Erica, do you ever get, pushback? Because I've heard this, you read, it's, I guess, the dark side of craft beer, if there is one. But you hear there's some pushback, where you're in the tap room and a person that's never been there is like, hey, I'd like to try some of your beers, and you give him a recommendation. He's like, yeah, I'll do this, and then he hates the beer, and you're like,
oh yeah, people do that all the time.
And do you feel like it's just because you're a female?
No, I just feel like it's kind of the beer culture. They'll do it to anybody. We call them beer bros. They know more about beer than you do, no matter what.
Right.
So I just let them talk. I didn't even pay attention to them.
I think somebody was explaining. She was drinking in here, and somebody was explaining to her our beer.
Yeah, I was drinking. I was drinking on the other side of the counter as a customer.
They're like, so this is how you made it.
I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, cool, awesome.
This is
actually, sir.
No.
Actually, sir, you're wrong. What I was thinking when I made this beer that you're drinking is.
Yeah, sometimes people are surprised to hear that I brew the beer because I usually don't tell them. I just let them.
Because you don't have a neck beard? Is that why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We might get in trouble for being a brewery without any beards whatsoever.
Yeah.
Gonna have to just
I'm starting to grow one, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
Marcus has enough for all of us. So.
Marcus started his beer at 6 months. Just never looked back.
I got invited to the Microbrew Invitational in 2016, and I brought 2 buddies of mine, and they both have long beards, and everybody thought they were the brewers, They're like, nope, it's that drunk guy over there spilling beer. He's a brewer. Yeah, it's fun times.
Well, so do you guys have any? You said Microbrew Invitation. I think that's normally in June, first part of June-ish.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be there this year, or are you going to, by any chance, be at Savor here in DC? Just
No,
throwing it out
but
there.
you know,
Okay.
like you heard of Finback, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like for me, like locally, beer fests are taxing because we only have a certain amount of staff here, and I only have so much time. So when I do a beer fest, it's like a lot of work and a lot of stress. But Basil from Finback loves it because he travels and does a lot of beer fests. And I never looked at it like that. Like it's like a paid vacation kind of. But, so like we're trying to find like beer fests. Like we're like there's one coming up in July in Portland, Oregon. Let's go. You know, there's one in San Diego.
Yeah.
Let's see if we could do that.
Did you get a chance to visit? Not obviously poor, but go to buy the EBF at all?
No.
No.
Tickets go fast, man. They've always gone fast. It'd be fun to go to EBF. It'd be fun to be invited, but
Hit
yeah.
anyone
Let's see.
listening.
I'll call
sorry.
Sam. I'll call Sam Calagione and hold on. Let me send him a text real quick. Psych.
What is extreme beer these days? What is extreme beer? Because like what used to be the extreme beers at EBF is now the norm.
The norm, yeah, absolutely.
Well, actually, what is extreme now is just the opposite of what was
Barrel-aged
extreme.
Pilsner?
Yeah, exactly, or just a pilsner.
Yeah, that is extreme, right? Oh, yeah.
Right, just a pilsner, or just a traditional goza, or so brew a West Coast IPA, brew a 6.5% West Coast IPA. That'll be extreme. So, do you guys have any festivals coming up that you're going to be pouring at or attending? Maybe in the local area, or Providence Beer Week or something along those lines?
I don't think so. Just because sometimes I'd rather not. You know.
Okay.
I was gonna shoot for the New York City Craft Beer Fest because that's like, hey, let's fucking go to New York for the weekend. But everybody wants to take a vacation around that time, so I'll be working here instead.
I think a great place to visit would be Washington, D.C. You know, be a great place to visit.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I've got a friend that's a head brewer at a brewery in Virginia. I'd like to go down there and
What brewery?
Solace Brewery.
Northern Virginia. That
Yeah.
right next to their homies.
Bridget, I went to brewing school with her a long time ago, and she's just a friend. She's great brewer. She's actually like, we went to brewing school. Out of everybody I went to, she's had like the best career possible for a brewer. You know, besides opening up your own cool little brewery.
It's not long live.
Yeah.
So,
Any collabs on the horizon, perhaps?
We just did a collab with Deciduous out of
Yep.
New Hampshire,
New Hampshire.
and that'll be out next weekend, I think. And then I think we got another one coming up with Henry and Fran Brewing Company. They're out of like somewhat Western Mass, outside Worcester.
Which one was it? I'm sorry.
Henry and Fran.
Okay.
It's great stuff, but you only find it on draft, right? But yeah, last time we did something really weird. I don't know if we're gonna go weird ever again because it really fucks with people. It does.
Dude,
You know.
the non-black IPA.
Well, we made what did we make?
A blueberry and lavender.
Blueberry and lavender beer. And
I thought it was great.
yeah,
What was
we
the
loved
base?
it, but like consumers,
It was an IPA.
not so
IPA,
much.
okay.
So not so much.
It was like a wheat IPA.
We
Good.
lots of mosaic, blueberry, lavender.
That goes hand in hand.
Mosaic and blueberry. Yeah, that's a match made in heaven right there. So you guys, before we take off, you guys said that you've done 3 beers so far this month. What's up next in the tanks for your loyal following who may be watching right now? What can they expect in the next? Hell, I guess if you at the rate you're putting them out, what can they expect in the next day or two?
Well, it's week by week here, but we just brewed a new one called Stormy Weather. It's like a lower. We just went through a rung, and we're looking at our tap list, and it's all double IPAs and a stout, you know. So we're going for a slightly lower alcohol IPAs. One called Stormy Weather. It's made with hops. That's all I gotta say. We got
a little bit of yeast.
Well, hey, look, that's important because you could be putting out a gruit, so you know it's
Yeah.
not far fetched.
Got another kettle sour coming out too with dark cherries. throwing that in about a week or so too.
Yeah.
And what else have we got coming
We
out?
got a couple of our regular beers coming back around. All Seeing Eye, Attitude.
Yeah. For anybody listening, we didn't announce it, but we'll have cans of All Seeing Eye on Saturday. We just didn't want to say anything.
All Seeing Eyes on Saturday in cans.
Saturday.
Like customers are watching this because then they'll see that, because we haven't said anything. So now they're going to know. So we'll
It's
see.
going to be all over the internet now.
Internets.
I will.
Gigante.
I might try to make it. I think so.
Hey, Fred. Hey, friend. Hey, friend, Freddie.
I'll pull up with some nice PVD donuts.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a collaboration with them coming up too. Another one. We're
Dude,
friends
those
with the
donuts
people that
are
own
crazy.
PV Donuts, and
It's not good for you.
They make great donuts.
Yeah.
It's cool.
They're awesome.
Not gonna lie. I had cereal milk and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was another one that hit people differently too, because nobody had an idea that was going to be like a tart idea.
Well, guys, we certainly want to thank you for your time tonight. The Providence, well, the Rhode Island, well, just the whole New England craft beer scene is kind of has the country by the balls, and we're doing what you guys, the rest of the country is doing what you guys are telling us to do. And I, for one, am grateful because I'm a big fan of the New England IPA, of that particular style, and also I'm also a big fan of smaller breweries. I mean, Armando, I know you guys hate the 850 square foot thing, but some of those smaller breweries are the ones who are putting out a lot of the really good stuff that that us craft beer heads really appreciate. So I wish you guys nothing but the best. I hope you sign. If you have any issues signing that lease, just tell the guy Randy down in Virginia. He won't know who I am. It won't get you anywhere, but he may think that I'm somebody and it may help you. It's not gonna get you a damn thing, but try it.
We'll try it.
Yeah, try it.
Chances are they'll be like, "Oh, you know the Velvet Rope? One pack, Randy."
Anyway,
That's your nickname, the Velvet Rope.
No,
his nickname is Velvet Rope Randy.
No, so guys, we wish you guys nothing but the best of luck. I hope you have a lot of success with this new location. With the newfound space, new beautiful tap room, since you had this awesome architecture firm to design this for you. So you guys are. I think the future might be bright for you guys. So we wish you guys nothing but the best, and thank you so much for your time tonight.
Absolutely,
guys.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So that's it, guys. That's gonna wrap the show. We're still working on getting some more guests lined up for you all. So stay tuned to our different social media platforms. We'll definitely be sending out some emails or some notifications whenever we get some more guests lined up. So be on the lookout in the near future for those who we have in line. So until then, remember, find some great beer, find some great friends, and mind those P's and Q's. I have empty glass. Cheers.
Cheers.